I mean, Fox is more shameless than Russia state regime media. Fox is more shameless than North Korea state regime media. I mean it. I mean, Putin and Kim Jong-un must be like, hey, Fox, can you maybe teach our state regime media what you're doing? Give us some tips. I mean, after Donald Trump disgraced the United States, humiliated himself with that despicable appearance in the Oval Office where he and J.D. Vance laundered Putin's talking points to attack Ukrainian President Zelensky in the Oval Office in front of the world media. Unfortunately, Zelensky stood up to Donald Trump and pushed back, and apparently that made Donald Trump have a boo-boo that hurt Donald Trump's feelings. So Trump said, peace talks are now off, because Donald Trump's a petulant little third grade bully. No offense to petulant third grade bullies. So Fox, which calls itself Fox News, which it isn't, they had to cover for Donald Trump. They had to say Zelensky was bad and Zelensky was rude and dear leader was so strong. So let me show you what went down. You had Laura Ingraham say the following. Let's play it.
Zelensky was like an annoying gnat. He never shut up in camouflage. But by about...
I think she's describing herself and other Fox hosts there, like Jesse Waters, who then said the following.
We run the world. This is America's world. He's our proxy. This ends when we say it ends. It doesn't end when Zelensky... If he wants to go it alone, go it alone. I'm glad we helped him. Russia invaded. We got his back. At first, it was the right thing to do. But now it's not. Now the war's over, and he doesn't recognize it's over. And reality is going to eat this guy alive if he doesn't recognize this.
What? He goes, we run the world. This is America's world. He's our proxy. I mean, these people are cartoonishly evil and pathetic and dumb. Like, I can't even believe what I am watching. I mean, I can, I guess, because it's Jesse Waters and Laura Ingraham and Sean Hannity. But this is so utterly pathetic. So then you have Laura Ingraham brings on the propagandist. She calls herself a press secretary, Caroline Levitt. And she goes, oh, Zelensky was so rude. He was rude to Donald Trump. And you can't be rude to dear leader. Here, play this clip.
So he was on the brink of signing an economic agreement that would have ensured economic prosperity for the Ukrainian people and recouped American tax dollars for funding this war. Instead, because of his rude and antagonistic ways, the deal blew up in his face.
I mean, she's the worst. Again, this is all so pathetic. And then they call on this guy who's like, when you're coming for a peace deal, put on a suit. Why wasn't Zelensky wearing a suit? Here, play this clip.
When you're coming in for a peace deal, put a suit on. He used to wear suits. A suit is not a costume. His War Greens regalia, that's a costume, like the one he wore on the cover of Vogue in 2022. You get the feeling this whole thing is kind of dress up. I mean, he's not exactly Winston Churchill.
Yeah, well, I think when Churchill wanted, America to get, involved in World War II, can you imagine him coming over here and kind of insulting, FDR, just strafing the whole Oval Office? That probably would happen. Elon Musk doesn't wear suits either, we should say, and also wears hats and T-shirts in the Oval Office. But that's kind of he's not asking for money. He's volunteering. Yeah, and he's volunteering his services.
He's trying to give your money back, not take it. So, you got to dress for the occasion. But boy, that thing was like WWF Friday Night Smack.
What are these people even talking about? I mean, y'all see the insanity here, that this is what Fox is doing. You see the sleight of hand. They're going to turn this against Zelensky, but this seems like it was all kind of part of the plan to begin with. Try to provoke a fight and then be like, well, that's why I guess we should let Putin do the genocide in Ukraine, because Donald Trump got his feelings hurt. For what reason, too? I mean, there's nothing that Zelensky did in the Oval Office that was wrong. I mean, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance were behaving amateurish, pathetic, undignified. I mean, they were behaving just so ghoulishly. And all Zelensky was like is, yeah, Putin's a bad guy, and stop blaming Ukraine for Russia invading it. I mean, and Zelensky said thank you over and over again. What did you expect him to do? I mean, but this brings you into the psychology of these spineless MAGA Republicans who literally behave the way like North Korean politicians behave to Kim Jong-un. I never thought this could happen in the United States of America. These spineless people. Here's Jesse Waters saying, oh, everyone should be friendly, and what Zelensky did was undignified. Here, play this clip.
Everyone seemed friendly, about to eat lunch, just doing what they do. Then for some reason, Zelensky got an attitude.
And they bring on these spineless MAGA Republican senators right here, like Senator Schmidt. And Senator Schmidt basically like, you do not disrespect America. That was disrespectful. Here, play this clip.
Embarrassed. Adam Kinzinger's embarrassed. Do they realize they're actually hurting their cause by appearing on television? I mean, it's making it harder to get to any positive outcome for Ukraine.
Yeah, the America Last crowd has always got something to say, but I think today was telling. And I think people should pay attention to the people who are defending Zelensky versus the people who are defending America. So it's a kind of a defining day. I think a fault line that had existed for a while is now out in the open. And it's very, as you said, it's very educational. It's very instructive. But the truth of the matter is, we're Americans. That's our president. And no foreign leader comes into the Oval Office and disrespects us that way, especially when we're trying to help.
I mean, I think all of these people are just straight up crazy at this point. Like, we're watching a bunch of like maniacs. I mean, here is Senator Schmidt again. Here's what he has to say. Play this clip.
And they were very clear today. I just think, and I also have golfed with President Trump from time to time. Today for Zelensky, this was a gimme. This was a 1 foot putt that he just blew past the hole with his arrogance and his smugness. It totally backfired. The biggest losers here are the Ukrainian people, because you have an American president, the only person on the planet, Laura, who can bring peace. And he couldn't bring himself just to say thank you today, to say thank you and just listen, as opposed to popping off. And then he got escorted out of the Oval Office and out of the White House. So this thing's really, in jeopardy now. And I think that, but I'm glad the American people have a president and a vice president who are willing to stand up for them.
Mornings in my house, non-negotiable coffee time. It's the one thing that has to be perfect to start my day off right. But for the longest time, I was getting frustrated, either grabbing some overpriced $7 cup from the local coffee shop or settling for stale generic coffee from the grocery store. Then I found Trade, and now my morning coffee actually feels like a treat without the ridiculous price tag. And you know I take my coffee seriously. Trade is the #1 U.S. specialty coffee marketplace, bringing you fresh coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. And they don't just send you whatever's lying around. Trade's experts have taste tested thousands of coffees to curate 450 incredible roasts, so you get matched with something that actually fits your taste. I took Trade's quick coffee quiz, and in under a minute, they matched me with some amazing roasts. I just got a bag delivered of Colombian coffee from a roaster called Clatch, and honestly, the smell alone was worth it. It was so smooth and flavorful, you could actually taste the difference in fresh roasted to order coffee, and I'm never going back to the old stuff. And here's the best part. Trade's prices are on par with grocery store brands, but the quality is next level. Plus, you're supporting local roasters. So better coffee, better value, and you don't even have to leave the house. It's a win-win-win. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering our listeners 40% off your first order at drinktrade.com/Meidas. That's drinktrade, TRADE.com/Meidas, MEIDAS, for 40% off your first order. drinktrade.com/Meidas.
Let me bring you back to Caroline Levitt. Let's play it.
And so it's very unfortunate for the Ukrainian people and for President Zelensky that he walked in with this mindset of give from the American people without much gratitude for what the American people have done.
Here Caroline Levitt is again.
His countrymen are dying. And most of all, President Zelensky failed to recognize that he is walking into the Oval Office with a new sheriff in town. And that sheriff is Donald Trump.
Then they bring in this guy, Scott Bessent, their Treasury Secretary, who's just like the most arrogant guy ever too. And he was like, oh, the Democrats, they just watch this. Let's play it.
But I have to tell you, Laura, today I was shocked that he would behave like this on camera in front of the world. If he had issues he wanted to bring up with President Trump, the proper venue for that would have been 15 minutes later. We were going to walk into the White House dining room and have lunch, just 16 of us, and he could have They have voiced his concerns privately. I actually think, everyone's, the Democratic side of the ledger is saying, oh, this was a setup. Vice President Vance and President Trump set up President Zelensky. I actually think he was always going to do this. And I think he was surprised with the forceful reaction he got back.
Well, Mr. Secretary, this was something to behold. People say, oh, well, Trump was the aggressor. I mean, Zelensky was coming to get help from the United States, continued help, and he disrespected his host. You just don't do that.
Back to Jesse Waters right here.
No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this.
Don't tell the vice president he's speaking too loudly. He can speak however he wants to in the White House. Have you ever seen a foreign leader come into America and talk this way?
And by the way, give President Zelensky credit. He went on Fox and he defended himself. He defended his country. And he said, there's nothing I need to apologize for. I'm very thankful for the American people. I've told Trump I was thankful for him before. I've told J.D. Vance I'm thankful for him. I told former President Biden I'm thankful. I've said I'm thankful 100 times. Just stop saying that Putin is a good guy and stop blaming Ukraine for Russians killing Ukrainians. That's all I'm saying. I, as a Ukrainian, am not going to accept that Russia is the good guy here. And that's all Zelensky's saying. So there's nothing I need to apologize for. Here, play this clip.
Fire during all these years, 10 years.
So I'm not hearing from you, Mr. President, a thought that you owe the president an apology.
No, I respect President and I respect American people. And if, I don't know, if I think that we have to be very open and very honest. And I'm not sure that we did something bad. I think maybe sometimes some things we have to discuss out of media, with all respect to democracy and to a free media. But there are things that where we have to understand the position of Ukraine and Ukrainians. And I think that is the most important thing.
And again, just the behavior like, oh, Zelensky, you need to, like Fox as the propaganda network. You want to say you're sorry? Do you want, it's like, what? There's nothing I can say I'm sorry for. It's like insane. Here's Zelensky again. Let's play it.
Do you think the public spat in the Oval Office in front of the media served Ukrainians well today?
I think this kind of spat is I mean, this is not good for both sides anyway. And I very open, but I can't, change our Ukrainian attitude to Russia. And I don't want, they're killers for us. This is very, very clear that Americans are the best of our friends. Europeans are the best of our friends, and Putin with Russian, they're enemies. And it doesn't mean that we don't want peace. We just want to recognize the reality, the real.
And then they bring in Lindsey Graham. Let me show you what Lindsey Graham has to say.
President Trump handled it in a fashion that if I'm China, I'm Iran, I'm any would-be adversary, I'd be worried about right now. He gave a master class in how to stand up for America.
Okay, so what we saw...
Here's Lindsey Graham again.
What do you want to see happen next?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if you can repair the damage. I don't know if you can ever do a deal with Zelensky anymore. Listen, did you see a guy that you felt good about going into business with? And I've been a fan. I've met him more times than I can count. But today showed just poor judgment, showed lack of control. Now, what I want him to do, I guess, is just to say, I screwed up big time for my country and for the U.S. relationship. And if I had it all do over again, I'd done it differently. I'm sorry. If he can't say that, then Ukraine, you either need to send us somebody new we can deal with, or just accept the consequences.
Senator, thanks for popping on.
Another clip of Lindsey Graham.
Takeaway, I told President Trump, I said, there's two ways to look at this. Your interaction with Zelensky was maybe the best television I've ever seen. But it's deeper than that. The world is now watching how Trump behaves and acts when he's pressed. I thought he stood up for America, that we're a good people. We want to help you, but we're going to be respected. So I think Moscow is probably more afraid of Trump than ever. Hope the Chinese are, and I hope the Iranians are. As to Zelensky and Ukraine, to the Ukrainian people, America wants to help you. the way the meeting went today, you made it almost impossible to help you.
And again, they're like, I need you to apologize. Apologize right now. Here, play this clip.
I just think there's no way the president could have signed that deal given the way he and JD and our country were treated. I don't know if you can put it back together. I don't know if you can repair the damage. And I've busted my ass to try to help Ukraine to make sure we help them win a war that would, get this war over in a way that we don't have further aggression. And Donald Trump's the man to do it. I told him this morning, I told him, don't take the bait. Don't let the media or anybody else get you into a argument with President Trump. What he's doing today is resetting the relationship. You should be grateful. Now, whether or not we can put this back together, I don't know. But Zelensky's going to be on your network tonight. If I were him, I would profusely apologize to the way he treated our president and the vice president in the Oval Office and show a little bit of gratitude for what the American people have done.
Senator, how does Moscow and Putin look at this?
No, I think Zelensky demonstrated strength. And even when Donald Trump was outside of the White House, they were like, what do you want him to do, Donald? Like, what do you want Zelensky to do? And Trump was like, stop saying negative things about Putin. Stop saying bad things about Putin. It's Putin this, Putin that. Yeah, because Putin unlawfully invaded Ukraine, you idiot. Here, play this clip.
What? He's got to say, I want to make peace. He doesn't have to stand there and say about Putin this, Putin that, and all negative things. He's got to say, I want to make peace. I don't want to fight a war any longer. His people are dying. He doesn't have.
I'm telling you, this is Trump's corruption and his evilness is matched by his idiocracy. We're watching the most pathetic Putin pawns in the White House behave in a way that brings shame on the, it's shameful as can be. And to the rest of the world, we're sorry for this. These freaking maniacs here. Until they rip this microphone from my very hand, we will stand with democracies across the world, here in the United States and abroad at the MeidasTouch network. That's what we will do. Yes, we're run by a maniac authoritarian regime here now in the United States, but we will use this platform to continue to spread the truth. Thank you for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.meidastouch.com. All 100% USA union made.